The next person that'd like to speak is Laura Steele. Laura's from Marysville.
Hi, my name's Laura Steele. I'm the aunt of Robert Simpson. He's the 25-year-old young man that died from a gunshot wound in December of 2006 here in St. Clair County. I guess I'd like to talk to you about the incident itself and about our involvement with the St. Clair County Sheriff's Department and with the prosecuting attorney, Michael Wendling. The incident first, Robbie died, like I said, as a result of a gunshot wound to the head. The death occurred in the home other than Robbie's. The homeowner was present at the time in the room, and he had been drinking. The homeowner told deputies at the scene conflicting information about what actually happened that evening. He told a couple of different stories. And the homeowner has a very violent and unstable past, but the police department never bothered to look into that. He has, he's got numerous assaults, drunk driving arrests, carrying a loaded unregistered firearm in a motor vehicle. And as far as the concealed weapons charges went, the attorney that he had hired requested a psychiatric evaluation, and this evaluation actually determined that he was suicidal, perhaps homicidal, had disorganization of his thinking process, and paranoia. And those were the results of that psych eval. And this is the other man that was in the presence of my nephew that died. Our private investigator, Mr. Walzer, has found that this man has told numerous people how he's killed several people, and he demonstrated how he puts a handgun to the side of a person's head and shoots them. And this is all in our private investigator's report. The man lied to the deputies as to where the handgun came from that was found on the scene. The investigating deputy indicates in his report that he believed the gun belonged to this man, not Robbie, which originally it was said that Robbie brought it with him. But we now know that it was actually this man's gun. The deputy sent a warrant request to the prosecutor's office for this man having an unregistered gun. So, anyway, our dealings with the investigating process here. The deputy also told witnesses and family members that he had a gut feeling that this man had shot Robbie.
Madam, I'm going to have to ask you to make your concluding remarks now.
My 3 minutes are up?
I'm
I
sorry.
have all this. I'm not done. Anyway, there was no photos taken of the scene. We just don't feel that there was a proper investigation done in this case. It's been almost a year, and we've made numerous attempts to contact the Sheriff's Department, and we're not getting any results. Even Mr. Wendling has had a trouble getting paperwork from the Sheriff's Department. They were supposed to get fingerprints on the gun back in January. In February, Mr. Wendling told us that the Sheriff's Department was advised that the gun was at the crime lab, but when we got the report back, it hadn't even been sent to be fingerprinted until June 11th of this year. So I guess, in short, can I give you copies of this?
Sure.
Okay. I guess we're just looking for some sort of direction here. We would like to ultimately have it turned over to the state police. The state police officer told us they would take it if Mr. Wendling or Dan Lane would turn it over to them. So, thank you.
Thanks, Laura. Next individual is Marie Sontag. Marie's going to be talking on the same issue.
Chairman Evans, did we want to receive that document she has? I don't know if it's Do you want to give it to us to make it part of the record, or?
My name is Maria Sontag. I'm Robbie's sister. Ooh, this is harder than what I thought. Our St. Clair County Medical Examiner, Dr. Daniel Spitz, conducted a partial, not complete autopsy on Robbie. The day after the autopsy, approximately 10 days before he even received the toxicology report, he issued a death certificate stating that my brother had committed suicide. My 3 minutes is going to go quick. It's in our opinion that Dr. Spitz did not have sufficient information as to the circumstances regarding the death of Robbie to come to a conclusion that he had killed himself. Mary Palmatier from the St. Clair County Medical Examiner's Office told us that she had received a phone call from a deputy with the St. Clair County Sheriff Department that night, and he had told her that he was at a scene of a suicide. Mary Palmatier later told our family she did not know that Robbie had died in another person's home and that the homeowner was present when Robbie was shot. Dr. Spitz conducted a partial autopsy the day after Robbie's death, not knowing that information. No one from the Sheriff's Department was present during the autopsy to give Dr. Spitz information as to the circumstances surrounding Robbie's death. It is highly unlikely that Dr. Spitz had any photographs from the scene. Dr. Spitz told me that with a contact wound to Robbie, to the head, Robbie would have hit the floor before he even started bleeding. In the pictures, it shows blood on the desk, on the floor, around him on the floor. And it is unknown if Dr. Spitz even had a copy of the pictures or the initial report. He may have had one from the deputies. If he did, he only would have had the initial report from the deputies and nothing from the investigator assigned to the case, as he did not submit his first report until January 9th, 13 days after he was called to the scene. As the autopsy report itself, other than the address where this occurred, there is no information in the autopsy report as to the circumstances leading up to Robbie's death. There is no documentation as to what appears to be blood drops on Robbie's clothing. There is no documentation as any blood being present on Robbie's hands or arms. No photographs were taken of Robbie's hands to show if there was any visible gunshot residue on them. Mary Palmatier later told me that there was no visible residue on his hands. And from pictures I have seen, there is no blood on his hands. Robbie's cap is seen lying on the floor by his head in scene photos. This could be valuable evidence. The investigating deputy told our family that he had the cap at one time, but the Sheriff's Department no longer has it. And what happened to it, and did Dr. Spitz even have a chance to see it? Dr. Spitz did not document in his report the names and addresses of any persons present in the autopsy. This is in violation of Michigan State Law Section 52.205. Mary Palmatier said she was ill and not present. No one from the Sheriff's Department was present. And who was with them?
Madam, you'll have to conclude your remarks.
Oh, I only got a little bit left.
Okay.
The toxicology report dated January 5th indicates that Dr. Spitz did not record the date and time that he obtained the sample from Robbie. He also did not record the source he obtained the sample from. We have copies of the St. Clair County Health Department annual reports. Basically, I won't say any of that. There's been a lot of undetermined deaths since Dr. Spitz has came on. Out of the many deaths we have, more than 50% is undetermined. In the Oakland County Medical Examiner, we spoke to him, Dr. Varani. He reviewed the case and issued a written opinion that Robert Simpson's death should be ruled a homicide until positively proven otherwise. By the way, we did not pay him for his opinion, free of charge. And then after you read the report, we believe that you will have questions in your mind, as we do, as to what actually happened to Robbie that night. As our commissioners, you are Dr. Daniel Spitz's supervisors. Our family is asking that at this point, Robbie's death at least be ruled undetermined, if not homicide, as Dr. Varani believes it should be. Thank you.
Thanks, Marie.
We don't normally